And we are recording. So before we jump right in, my name is Tom.
I'm Lucy.
I'm with Lucy. And this is my podcast. It's called Volumes. And it is available on Spotify. And you can watch it on YouTube. And it's also going to be available on on iTunes really soon. Nice. You can watch it on any of those things if you wish. They're all just Google Volumes or if you the YouTube channel is called Volumes and you'll find it, and it's got this content on it. If you go to the YouTube channel and it has this video, then you're in the right place. If you go to Spotify and it has this audio, then you're at the right place.
Experts.
I have such a bad cough right now. My mouth feels so dry, but the cold tea isn't helping. So yeah.
It's just a prop.
We have an hour to talk about your subject matter, but before we do that, I want to quickly give a little intro to what's going on here. So basically, this is my podcast, and I kind of want to. I think when I described it to people, like I was like, I just want a place where I can talk to people about things I don't really know and learn about those things. And I think that's exactly what I wanted to be, and like, but I also wanted to be a place that's just kind of like open, and there's no like rules or anything. Like I've not got like a set list of like, this is what I want to do and this and that and whatever. It's just kind of like, oh, they've got a cool story, they've got a cool idea, they've got a cool whatever.
I'm hoping this isn't like a setup to catch me out.
Nah, I have no malicious ideas. Okay. I literally just want to learn, and I want viewers to learn along with me, kinda. Or listeners, if you're just listening to it. But yeah, if you know anyone that'd be good on the podcast, whether they're like activists, if they just have like controversial ideas, if they have cool stories, whatever it may be, then message me on everything. All my social medias are all at Sir Tom Gibson. And if you're watching YouTube, of course, the links will be down below and stuff. And yeah, just tell me who they are or what the deal is or topics you want me to talk about. Or if you want to be on the show, if you've got any ideas and stuff. The show. But yeah.
Tom Gibson show.
I wish that was this called, yeah. My vanity would go through the roof. But yeah, that's all I kind of want to say. Just want to talk to people about cool things. Don't want it to be too serious, don't want it to be too goofy. I just want to be nice, sweet spot in the middle. Just talk to people like I was just talking to people, like if I met them in the street. This is basically how I'd just bombard them with questions. Bring them
into your into your studio,
my lair.
Sit them down at the table, wire them up. Like, yo, what's your story?
Wire them up.
I've been a bit intimidated if that's like how I met everyone.
I feel like if
First date.
yeah, I feel like if I start like really doing this, like really start podcasting and stuff. I don't know if that's like an actual thing, like podcasting.
Yeah.
I feel like that's only like a byproduct of being
I'll be in the dictionary soon, I'm sure.
Yeah. I mean, it's been going about for a long time. I don't really know much about it. I'll listen to some podcasts.
They're rising.
If you are listening to podcasts, you can do a thing on iTunes where you can like set, I think it's called, I said it like 10 minutes ago and I forgot what it's called now. Night mode or something like that, or sleep mode. And basically what it does is at the end of the episode, it will end, or you can set it at like a specific time, so like 30 minutes, and it'll automatically like pause there, and then like the app's close and stuff. So like it doesn't. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like YouTube. YouTube does it.
Yeah, I didn't know that, but yeah.
Like my little sister, I'll go through to the bathroom at like 4 a.m, and I hear weird noises coming from her room, and I'm like, what's going on?
A stranger
and
noise.
She's like falling asleep, and she's watching like slime videos, people like prodding their fingers into Tupperwares of slime.
That would be a pretty strange noise to hear in the morning.
Yeah. She always grips so tight onto her phone when she falls asleep.
Maybe.
Like she has a death grip on it.
That's because it's basically a life source
for
millennials. Yeah, exactly.
Are they millennials like 2 years younger than us? Still millennials?
I have no idea.
Yeah,
I'm not sure where you become. Like, are we millennials? We were born before
I
the
feel like
millennium.
people that are 30 still call themselves like millennials.
Are there rules to this?
No.
When, like, or would you say like your
I feel like we've
your
just
sisters?
taken the term and we've generalised it as like one thing.
Someone said that we weren't even millennials. We were like
Yeah,
X.
Generation X or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That sounds way cooler. I kind of want to be that. Sounds very pretentious to say, but I mean,
Oh
I'll
my
pass as
god,
pretentious.
that is so millennial X of me. Oh no, Generation X of me. Yeah.
But yeah, podcast all about cool stuff. I just want to talk to people. Feel free to message me if you got any ideas. Again, I want to be kind of like an open source place. Just spitball your ideas, and I'll listen. But yeah, I want to talk to interesting people, interesting stuff. That's basically
Thanks.
it. Yeah. I don't know why you're on this one. Like,
Thank God I'm
this is just a
interested.
tester.
That'd be an awful relationship.
But yeah, a thing that I really want to make like obvious and clear is that maybe this kind of does sound a bit rude, like it comes off a bit rude, but I don't want to know anything about the guest beforehand, which isn't applicable this time. But I don't want to know, like,
You never know. I could
if
have a
I'm-
secret past.
yeah, maybe. If I'm learning about the guest, I don't want to know like anything about the guest beforehand, because I don't want to have any preconceived ideas or like ask questions
Yeah.
specifically because I already know certain things. Like, I really
Yeah.
want to learn about them fresh from them, like straight from the source almost.
Mm-hmm.
Again, that applies again to like the subject of what they're talking about. If I don't really know much about it, like I don't want to like research it beforehand. So I've got a bunch of questions. Like,
Yeah, go with the flow.
yeah, just kind of go with the flow. Just a conversation. Like, if I met someone on the street and they said that, oh this or that, I think a window just broke. Creaky old
Hope
place.
not.
If I met someone on the street and they told me something interesting to do with something specific, like their religion or their thoughts on politics or their crazy upbringing or whatever it is, I couldn't just whip out my phone, Google it, and then ask questions, you know? Like, I'd have to just take it in the moment and ask them questions based on what they've already told me, and that's how I want this to be.
Such a good scenario.
Just like, hold that thought, and then just Google. But yeah, that's exactly what I want this to be. Just like a free-flowing place of stuff.
Yeah.
But just like you said earlier, like, you said something, and I've forgotten what it was, but it was like, I've totally lost my train of thought. I've already ran out of words to talk about. 8 minutes in, and I don't even. I'm ran out of words. But you said something like, what did you say?
I don't know. I've said a lot of things in my life.
I don't know.
Along what lines?
Just like talking to people and stuff. I don't know. Honestly, I have no idea where my train of thought was going, but I know where it's going now. We're going to talk about
Nice.
veganism. You have 1 hour to talk about veganism, so
Okay. Am I going to be cut off like in school, like finish your sentences here, that's
Yeah.
you, done.
yeah, like on the letter,
Right.
whatever letter you're saying,
Right.
just
Dramatic.
Done.
Are you going to do like a dramatic countdown?
nah. It's just gonna the camera's just gonna cut off. Like, it'll just cut to black,
Okay.
and then you'll have no
It's
timeline.
extreme pressure. I'll try and adhere to that.
I'll give you like
I'll get really fast paced at the end.
you're starting off really slow, and then by the time you're like we're finishing, but I'll give you before like we have our hour done, I'll give you a little 10 minutes to plug all your stuff and be like,
Nice.
share your Instagram and stuff.
Because of course self promo is the most important thing.
I mean, why else would you come on this show if you weren't trying to?
Because maybe I'm just trying to help you out here. Maybe I'm your girlfriend, and this is what girlfriends do.
Yeah,
Be the trial run.
or maybe you want my millions of viewers on your Instagram. But just so you're saying, yeah, you are my girlfriend. So that's the idea that I don't know the person I'm talking to beforehand, or I can't just like have set questions and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I can't really apply this time because
Yeah.
I literally know
And
almost
I mean,
everything.
like, we've not planned this. I have no idea
No.
what you're going to ask me about.
Yeah.
But, like, it's not like we have conversations about veganism quite a lot. Because obviously, like, I'm vegan. you're not vegan.
I am not vegan.
The topic does come up, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd like to hear some fresh questions. Maybe some challenging questions.
I'm gonna ask them a little bit like I don't know.
Okay.
But I'm not gonna like play naive. I just mean like I'm going to ask the questions like
what's your
like
name?
Yeah, maybe not that far, but
What
yeah.
is a vegan?
Almost. What is a vegan? All right. You ready?
I'm prepared.
Ready to jump right in?
So excited.
Also, let me know if an hour is a good time for these. Like, I feel like an hour is a good time. Like, every podcast I've watched, or listened to rather, is like 40 minutes to an hour. And I feel like that's pretty good.
Yeah.
I feel like
podcasts are great for like when you're getting ready in the morning, like you can't read a book, but you can listen to a podcast. Do you know what I mean? Or like when you're falling asleep. It's good for just like absorbing information without even trying. I like it. I like
when you've got more time than listening to a song, put on a podcast.
Use your time wisely. Listen to two idiots talking into microphones with earphones that are way too big for heads.
Yeah.
Way too big for mine. Your head's huge.
My head is pretty huge. Yeah. My head. These headphones are too small for my head. But yeah. Honestly, your feedback is muchly appreciated. So hit me up. Tell me what you think. Just even if you have nothing really to say, you just want to say, "Oh, that was quite cool," or "Tom, that really sucks." Tell me. I want to hear it. If you tell me it sucks, though, I'll blog you. I'm like, I won't do that.
Just not like heavy death threats. Like he's sensitive.
Yeah. If it's that bad where you're going to be like, "Tom, kill yourself," then maybe I'll take that to heart.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's jump right in. Straight from death threats
sliding
to
into
veganism.
that.
So, Lucy, you are vegan.
I'm
you
vegan.
Identify as a vegan.
Yeah, I do.
And you have been vegan for 2 years and 1 month. Am I correct?
Yes, I did it as like a New Year's resolution. So 1st of January 2017.
So you're literally the only person that's ever stuck to a New Year's resolution.
Yeah. Well, actually the veganuary success rate for like this year, the people that have said that they're sticking to veganism past just veganuary, is insane this year. Like it went from I'm going to get this stat completely wrong, but like in 2015 or something like that, there's 15,000 people signed up for veganuary. In fact, no, It wasn't even that much. I think it was maybe like 10,000, something like that. This year it was over 150,000 people signed up for it. And that's just for vegan. That's just people that have actually physically gone onto that website and signed up, saying that they're going to do it.
Can I say something funny?
Yeah.
I'm already naive. Like I thought I already knew a lot about this.
Yeah.
But I'm already a bit confused. So like they sign up for it.
I signed up for veganuary. It's like a website.
Okay.
And you go
like
on,
veganuary.com?
put in your email. I mean, this is my idea of veganuary.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
It's kind of like an established. We can help you do this. We'll give you recipe ideas every day of veganuary. We'll give you tips. We'll give you information, stuff to research on. I mean, I didn't really stick to it thoroughly because my mind was in it. I didn't really need the help. I was just kind of feeling it out on my own. But yeah, you can actually sign up to do it. But that's not including the thousands of people that just did it without actually entering their email address into like a website. Yeah.
So like the website, is it like a charity or is it just kind of set up?
No, I think it's just like a vegan charity.
And it's set up just to like get people.
Just to encourage people to do it.
Alright.
And I mean, it encouraged me to do it. I'm like where I am now.
Isn't that what encouraged you to do it?
Well, I guess in a sense that was the kind of thing that it was my starting point. Because I feel like I'm a very New Year person. Like New Year feels like a blank slate to me. It's stupid, I know, but honestly,
I mean, if it works.
I feel like every major change I've had in my life, I've had to say, I'm gonna start from here. Right, it starts next week. I'm not gonna do this today. I'm gonna start it then. I'm gonna plan a little bit and do it then.
Right. So that totally worked for you. You like. So, let me get this right, because I feel like this isn't a question I've ever asked, right?
Yeah.
So you started on December. You started on January 1st, 2017.
Yeah.
So all the way through 17, all the way through 18, you were vegan.
Yeah.
So on December, the last day of December,
did a pig out.
Did you eat meat?
I actually can't remember. I think to be fair, my Christmas dinner was the last meat I ate, because by that point I was like fairly put off of it. I
Right.
think I
You were kinda, like, on the
basically
edge.
yeah. So basically,
On the
what
brink
made
of
me
vegan.
kind of that switch went off my head the moment where I realized, okay, veganism is a real thing. It's not this crazy thing, and I understand it,
Right.
and I want to do it. That was when I watched Cowspiracy on Netflix. I feel like everyone knows about it,
Yeah.
and it's not actually this like gruesome video of like animal slaughter that everyone thinks it is. Is it?
Well, I think they have to show like warnings before it and be like this might
it
make
could be
you
distressing.
throw up.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
For those who
But-
actually don't know what it is, it's basically a documentary about the animal industry or
Yeah,
whatever.
animal agriculture.
Like the meat industry, that's what I meant to say.
Yeah.
And animal agriculture, and like
Yeah, in
from
general.
literally beginning till end, from like
Yeah, it
from
goes
birth
into
to plate,
everything.
basically.
Yeah. But it's more so to do with like the environmental impact of animal
exactly.
agriculture, as opposed to the actual. It does cover animal rights and stuff like that, but as cynical as it sounds, that was never the thing that pushed me to do it. I've always been like a very like climophobe. I hate
Right.
the idea of ruining our world. It just seems awful to me. I don't understand how you can't be a climophobe, because it's literally like, this is the place that we live. I feel like people are a bit scared of the thought of impending death and doom of our planet.
Yeah,
I think
no
it's
one's that
something
big a
that
fan of death.
everyone's a wee bit concerned about. But yeah, so Cowspiracy is more so about like the environmental impact of animal agriculture, and that is what pushed me to say, okay, I understand that what I'm eating actually affects the planet. But the more I got into the whole swing of veganism, obviously the animal rights side to it became so apparent to me, that how unjust things were, and it almost all blended into one. And
Right.
yeah, I see, when I talk about veganism, do you think that I focus more on like the animal side of it?
I
feel like I do now.
feel like you do now, yeah.
Yeah, it went from being like a very, hold on, my foot's numb.
Wait now, punch his microphone.
It went from being very about save the planet
Yeah.
to save the animals.
So like it was the environmental aspect of it that really like triggered it for you.
Yeah.
But maybe you feel like you've transitioned from that
Yeah.
and more so into the
Yeah.
right. Okay.
And I wouldn't say it's overwhelming love for animals that I have. I do love animals, but I'm not like, oh my gosh, like animals are my life. Like, I've never been that person. I've never
Yeah.
been like super connected to animals, but I feel like it's more just a matter of what's right and justness and
Yeah.
not-
What's the thing that, obviously can't speak on behalf of everyone, but in terms of just veganism, what really gets people into veganism? Is it the environment or is it the animals usually?
I think it's
Usually
the animals.
the animals, yeah.
I think it's animals, because I think the thing that makes people question it more so, I don't know why, when I ate meat, I never made that connection. I remember when I was really young and I went fishing with my dad and caught a fish, killed it. I wanted to kill it. Like, it's been that crazy transition. I was always the person that said I could never go vegetarian. I love meat. Like, don't care what's in
Yeah.
it, don't care how it was killed. I love meat. I'm never doing it. I was that person. But like, what was I saying? Oh yeah. So when I was young and I killed the fish, and then my dad says, right, we're gonna eat that for dinner tonight. And I was like, what? And he was like, yeah, fish. We're gonna eat fish for dinner tonight.
Right.
And I was like, what? Is the fish that we eat the same as the
okay.
animal? I don't know how I killed it. And then but I was uncomfortable
So
with
you
the fact
almost
that I was
weren't really
eating
like
it.
conscious of the fact that this is now dead.
And I probably, like,
you're
I'm
gonna
not
eat
throwing my
that.
parents under the bus here, but they went like, well, this is normal. Like, people
Yeah.
do this. We kill animals and we eat them. That's how the world works.
Yeah.
So I guess, like, everyone as a child would have that moment of realization, like, oh my God, I'm eating an animal. And it probably makes them feel real uncomfortable. I don't know. It happened to me.
Yeah, I get you.
Chicken, I got that as well, because
When you caught a chicken with a fishing rod and killed that.
it was more the idea of like, ooh, I'm eating like
Did you have like a realization
pimply,
moment?
feathery bird that I'm kind of scared of in real life. So why am I putting it in my body? Like, if that's something that do you know what I mean? It gives me the heebie-jeebies. So
basically just
how am I eating it?
A country pigeon, isn't it?
Yeah. But yeah.
So did you ever have like a realization where you were like, oh, the chicken that I eat is like a literal animal, like that is a chicken, or was it just
that
fish?
only came, I feel like those realizations only came after being vegan.
Right,
I never made those connections before, because obviously I was just affirmed after I freaked out and cried over eating this fish that I'd just caught
that was
and
just
killed.
the way it was.
Yeah, that's the way it was. I feel like everyone's a wee bit like that. I mean, that's what we're told every day. We're supposed to do this. And yeah, in terms of like survival and how our bodies are built, meat is part of our diets, but it's at a point where we don't need to do it, and it's not for survival. It's just kind of for taste.
Right.
We don't need it. We don't need to cause the suffering, especially and to the extent that it's happening.
So you weren't vegan before, right?
What do you mean?
Before you went vegan, you never like tasted it, or like everyone's a little bit vegan, but you never like did a taster of like being vegan for a week or anything like that.
No, actually, I did.
Okay.
So like I would try. I remember being quite young and thinking, I'm gonna try being vegetarian, because I feel like it was just something.
How young is quite young? Like you're 19 now, so that's
maybe 14 then. I wasn't that young. But I remember doing it, but I didn't really understand why I was doing it. I was just kind of like, oh, I'm going to try it. I don't want to eat meat. I don't know. Can't remember. But I did it for about 3 days, went to the cinema and ate a hot dog. I never ate hot dogs at cinema. And for some reason I ordered a hot dog. And I was sitting in the cinema and my sister leaned over to me and she was like, Lucy, you're eating a hot dog. I was like, oh my God, so I am. But I just didn't care. And I tried being vegan before I like permanently transitioned before, and it would only last for a very short time. But I've now realised that this is because I just didn't know why I was doing it. I was doing it because I thought it was right. I knew it was right. You're
almost doing it more like how like Hollywood actors and stuff do it. They're just doing it kind of like it's a trend, but they don't really stick to it. They don't really mind that much.
Because when I was doing this, it wasn't really a trend. Well, maybe
you were indie. You were cool. You got in there before anyone else was.
But no, I used to try it, and my heart wasn't in it. I didn't understand it. I just knew it was the right thing to do, but I wasn't at that point willing to sacrifice my taste and convenience for the animals, for the world. I didn't really understand. But the more research I did, and cowspiracy especially, it just completely changed my mind. And it was like the light bulb in my head, a complete realization of something that I already knew, but it was like a heart connection. I just felt it, and I was like, no. Like from that point on, I knew that I couldn't go back, and I wouldn't forgive myself if I did go back to it.
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah.
So like, as I said, right, you didn't grow up in a family that had anything to do with it. You weren't. No. Did you know anyone that was like, anyone close to you that was vegetarian or like vegan?
I had friends, I guess. Yeah, I had a few friends that were like vegetarian or had tried being vegetarian.
But you weren't even remotely like influenced by that?
Nope, not
so
at all.
So it all came on your own behalf?
Yeah. It was, which is insane.
Yeah, that's what blows my mind personally.
Yeah, I wasn't influenced by anything. I used to watch, like, I was so into YouTube when I was younger, and I would watch vegan YouTubers and think, couldn't do it. I just wasn't really particularly influenced by that. It took hearing the hard facts and things that I couldn't ignore to tell myself, like, oh, maybe this is something that is legit. It's not crazy.
That's interesting, yeah. Because I always feel like when people are like, that's quite an insane, like, what's the word? Like when your like dietary requirement, I suppose. It's like an insane dietary requirement. It's very like, do you know what I mean? I don't know what I'm saying. But like, if you don't eat like one food, like that's not really a dietary requirement, but you're like cutting out what most people would consider
the bulk of their diet.
Yeah, like the main aspect, the primary piece of food.
I mean, I was a big meat eater, I loved all foods. I still do love all foods. Just because I'm vegan now doesn't mean that I wouldn't like the taste of meat. I don't like the taste of cheese.
Yeah,
I'm sure I would if there wasn't all the process behind it and the reality of it. But yeah, I used to eat everything under the sun. Like, I would eat so much food, and I'm still such a big foodie. Like, it's just a big part of my life, probably more so now.
So that brings me on to my next question. Okay. I say that as if I have like a bunch of questions listed, but I have a good question in relation to that, and it's, is it accessible?
For me, maybe I'm in a like advantageous position. I don't know, but my mum and dad, I mean, I've asked them, is veganism more expensive? Do you find it difficult to find stuff in the shops? Like, I'll go to the shops with mum and dad. When I first went vegan, it wasn't difficult to find things that I could eat. All I really did was take the foods that I already did eat, find substitutes for them. That was the easy way to get into it. And I started taking supplements at the start, just stopped all of a sudden, and haven't taken them for 1.5 years. So like I feel like I didn't really need them.
I just yawned, but it's not because I'm I'm not bored. It's because it's probably late.
What time is it?
It's like midnight.
Jesus.
Yeah, I don't know why we're doing this right
now.
Weird
time to be doing this. I thought it was like 9.
To be honest, so did I, until the tiredness came.
And I've asked them, like, is it more expensive? And it's usually my dad that does the shopping, but he'll say like pretty much the same standard. Like, we shop from Tesco usually, depends where you shop, but I could shop in a corner store and manage to get everything. But I mean, that's in Scotland. That's,
well, speaking of corner
parents
shop,
that buy my food, like,
or corner store, as you said. When we were in London, you could get quite a lot of stuff in there, right?
Yeah, tons of stuff. Yeah.
And that's quite crazy. That's like that's not a place. Like, I feel like veganism is a very like forward thinking thing. So whenever I think of veganism, I think of like new, fresh, kind of like evolved places. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So like big brand.
Bristol Briggs.
But that was like just some guy's shop that we would go to, and it had everything that like I had. Well, not everything, but I had like to me, maybe I'm naive, but it seemed like I had a lot of like vegan stuff.
Yeah, it really did.
And it was quite accessible.
And it was tiny.
Yeah, it was a tiny wee shop.
Probably because it was London, but I'm not sure. But anyway, I want to stress that I'm a really unfussy eater. As much as veganism seems like a limit to that, I'm a very unfussy eater. I will eat anything that's put in front of me, even if I don't like it. So I mean, that puts me in a position where I find veganism really easy, and I never, if I'm craving meat, I'll eat a substitute, and that craving's like satisfied. Yeah. And I mean, that's easy for me to say, and I know lots of people that have come to me and said the thing stopping me from going vegan is that I'm really fussy with the foods I eat.
Right.
And I just kind of suggest that try your substitutes, try alternatives, try just changing your lifestyle and try new foods. Like, there's so many foods I've discovered I would never think of eating them before, and now they're like in my regular diet. But I think the most important thing is, like, don't limit yourself to what you're eating. As a vegan, I've found that literally I can eat twice as much. Yeah. Like, my dad will give me double the size of the plate of his, and their mouths will be like falling open when they see that I'm just like demolishing it. I feel like I just love my food so much more. And I mean, I'm not having like, I'm not gaining insane weight. I've probably like doubled it, but gone over the extent where it's still like, okay, do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, you have like twice as much food going in your mouth,
and that would stay at my maintained weight, but I'm being really greedy and eating like triple the amount, so I'm probably like gaining weight. But
right,
I feel like
generally you're getting just as much nutrition.
Yeah, and I've tried like junk food veganism. That's mainly what I eat. I just eat everything that I would have before except a vegan substitute or alternative. And there's so many things that you wouldn't even realize are vegan that you already eat. Do you know what I mean? People think that you have to completely cut out stuff, but you're already eating vegetables, fruit, beans, rice, grains, bread. Yeah. Like, there's so many things that you're already eating that are vegan.
Yeah, exactly.
What was that?
I don't know. God. Something's broken. It wasn't me. I think it was the chair. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think so.
Like, no one's heart. It's fine.
Give me a break.
Talking about like that kind of stuff about eating your grains and whatnot.
Yeah.
But you're saying like try your substitutes.
Yeah.
Whenever I've eaten vegan, personally, I hate the substitutes.
Yeah.
I don't like. Although like vegan fish fingers and chicken nuggets, they're not bad, but I just.
Would you call yourself a fussy eater though?
No, not
you
really.
You wouldn't, but I see you as a very fussy eater, being like open to all foods myself.
I'd eat anything. I'd eat anything. It'll all taste the same.
As long as it's this, as long as it's that,
but,
without sauce.
Yeah, okay, maybe a little bit fussy, right? But what I always think is when I eat vegan, the best bit I like about it personally is that I know I'm cutting out a lot of rubbish.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I like if I went vegan, I'd go raw vegan. I'd only eat fruit and veg.
And I mean,
and like grains.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like I've tried junk food veganism, and I've also delved a lot more recently into healthy eating with veganism, and it's basically, do you know how like when you go, anytime I've gone on like diets or like tried to be healthy before,
I like how you're about to say, you know, when you go on diets, and then you looked at me and went, Tom's never been on a diet.
You've never restricted any
Tom
food
is
you've ever
far
eaten.
too lazy to go on a diet.
But it would be like lots of veg, meat on its own, like dry meat.
Yeah, like people eat like just chicken, like boiled chicken.
Yeah, or like eggs. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
To be fair, all you're really cutting out is the yucky things. That's not legit because that's biased, but you're cutting out the eggs, you're cutting out the meat. They're tasteless in that plate of food anyway. There's so many good things that you can put in that are so much more flavorful that are gonna spice up your plate.
Yeah.
And that's coming from my opinion. I don't know about other people, but I find healthy eating, like I'm bad at healthy eating, but I find that it's no harder doing it vegan style. Yeah.
There's a place in London that me and Lizzie go to when we're in London called Tibbetts. And it's like a buffet style place, and you weigh your plate after you picked up all your food, and that's what you pay for. And everything there it's not vegan, it's vegetarian, isn't it?
Yeah, it's all vegetarian. Lots of vegan stuff.
I've got an allergy to eggs and nuts, and they have everything's labelled, like everyone's freshly made. Yeah. The chef comes like writes it himself.
Customers at a restaurant, like we have to get the manager every time with a big folder.
But in that place, like everything's like written down, you know, all the ingredients and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's so brilliant, and everything tastes so good.
Really forward thinking.
But like, well, obviously there's nothing I'm going to be eating that's vegetarian, because if it's vegetarian, it means it's probably got eggs in it, so that's useless to me.
Yeah.
So everything I'll eat in there is vegan, and it tastes so good.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's just
vegan
that place.
Food can be good.
It definitely can be good, but for people who are interested in it but put off by the fact they'll be missing out and stuff, I feel like it's just like it's what's shown to them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, because the media really, if they want to show veganism in a bad light, they can so easily do that, because people do have that misconception that veganism is so alien. Like I used to think that. I was like, what is this thing that people are doing? What's the point? Yeah. But
it is pretty alien.
Yeah, and even when I realised, oh my god, like I don't believe in the ethics of eating meat and eating animal products, I'm gonna go vegan. I was still intimidated by it, because I was like, what am I gonna eat?
Yeah, totally.
I still had that idea in my head, and then as soon as I started, I was like, I can eat the majority of stuff here. Like it's like me saying to you, oh my gosh, you've got allergies to eggs and nuts, what can you eat? Literally
everyone ever.
Yeah.
That is literally everyone ever.
It's the worst question, because I eat such a variety of food, so much food, and I enjoy all my food.
See, that's where I feel like we differentiate. Because I eat so much food as well. Yeah. But it's mostly just the same junk.
Yeah, you eat the same thing all the time.
Like,
I mean, I do have those like staples.
I'll eat like 6 apples. There'll be a bunch of fruit, but if I eat an apple, then I'll be like, right, I'll just have apples now. Yeah. And just keep going eating apples.
I mean, I probably eat too many carbs, but I'm actually working on that. I'm trying to cut down my carbs, and there's different ways to
just so you're saying about supplements, right? Go back to that. So all vegans take supplements, right? Like every vegan that I follow on Instagram and stuff, all they ever do is talk about supplements. And what's the deal with that? What are they missing out on? And why do they take supplements? And is it just a mad gimmick?
I think it's something that people are really scared of in the start. I think that is like bad publicity. That's just media putting it out there. Like, if you go vegan, you'll be malnourished. You'll not be getting the right nutrients. So people say, like, you'll be protein deficient, calcium deficient.
The supplement companies are just saying this.
But literally every nutrient we have ever needed is in plants. It is proven that we can live off of only plants, lots of plants and only plants, and it's not difficult. I mean, I was scared about it at the start because I thought, well, I'll probably not get enough of the right nutrients. I don't understand nutrients. I have never analysed how many nutrients I'm getting. I've never looked at how much calcium I'm getting in a day. And I feel healthier than ever. I mean, 2 years into it, I feel just as healthy as I was at the start of it. I feel a lot more healthier than I was before I was vegan.
And you're anemic.
Yeah.
So you have an iron deficiency.
Yes.
Okay. I was so scared in case I was
people say
wrong.
there's lots of iron in like red meat and stuff.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. So like everyone like.
I remember when I used to.
Common knowledge.
Yeah, I remember when I used to feel faint. When I was still eating meat, I would go to the kitchen, find red meat, cook it, and eat everything I could because I'm like a really paranoid, like, what do you call it? Hypochondriac.
Yeah.
So like, as soon as I felt dizzy, I would be like, right, that's me.
As soon as I felt dizzy, I would just eat a raw
just
steak.
go basically tear apart the kitchen, and I would find like eat raw spinach because apparently that has loads of iron in it.
Right. Well, that was my next question. What do you eat?
What do I eat now?
You get your iron from?
Nothing. That's the thing. I don't get dizzy and faint like I used to anymore, ever. I mean,
so conspiracy,
month,
anemia is created by eating red meat.
No, I'm literally not saying this to like promote it. Like, if you're anemic, go vegan. But just in my experience,
I suppose if you are anemic and you want to try and solve it without just having to like take supplements and stuff, you should probably experiment and stuff because everybody's body's different. You never know what might help.
Yeah, and I mean, on the topic of supplements, there's also B12, which I'm a bit confused about it, to be honest. Yeah, but basically, B12. I'm gonna make a mess out of this, but B12 is basically in animals because they eat grass and they eat foods from the ground.
Or is it from the dirt or something like that?
Yeah, it's basically just like in the soil and the grass and stuff.
Right.
I'm pretty sure. So like when we eat that meat, we get B12, and we didn't naturally have that in our bodies, but that evolved in our bodies as a necessary supplement to have because of how much meat we were eating. Something like that. It became a part of our biological makeup, and so we need B12 now. Just like the appendix grew out of need, we had to then maintain that level of B12 in our bodies. But against that, there's like ways to go around it without taking supplements. Yeah.
What does B12 do to us though?
I have no idea.
Like, even though we need it, if we don't have it, what does a deficiency of that do?
It's something like adverse effects. I don't know.
Adverse effects. Right. That sounds very ambiguous. I would need to look into
it more, but I remember trying to research it before, and I was just very confused. It seemed like a lot of misinformation out there. It seems like a bit of a scare tactic to... That's midnight. Hold that thought.
Holding that thought.
Oh, goodness sake.
God, this is so rude. Do you know you're on a podcast?
Right. Yeah. So like that felt like a bit of a scare tactic, and I did eat B12 at the start of going vegan, and then I just kind of thought, why am I doing this? Like, I'm gonna just see how I feel without it.
And you're totally fine.
I've never felt I need to go to the doctor. I think I've only had one cold in the whole time I've been vegan, and it was that bad one that you gave me.
Sorry.
But that's I'm not ill often, but
faults.
I don't feel ill. I've not felt I don't feel like I've got any problems with my health or that I need to go to the doctors. Maybe I'm lucky. I don't know.
So,
as I said, like, I'm not an expert. I'm not sure.
I don't really know where to go from it. Like, I'm just thinking about the supplements thing, because like whenever I see that B12 thing, I honestly see it all the time. Yeah. And whenever I see something that frequently, maybe this is just my paranoid conspiracy brain working, right? But whenever I see something that much, I always feel like there's an agenda behind it. Like, it must be like, oh, veganism's cool now. There's a lot of vegan like promoters,
Yeah.
let's say they need B12, or let's get them to brand
To
B12
be
because we can
fair,
sell B12. Maybe I'm just thinking about that
things
way too
like
much, but it seems a bit weird.
meat substitutes and soy milk, they sometimes add B12 to them, and they sometimes add like calcium and.
So maybe you're
things to
getting
them.
your B12 from that.
So maybe I'm getting it from that.
Right, fair enough then.
But I feel like if you're going to be vegan, you're going to be drinking some of that stuff. If you're not, I don't know how that would affect you. I don't know. I mean, do your research. Try to do your research better than me, because honestly, I'm winging my entire life.
Yeah, this isn't
like
this podcast isn't about the facts really.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose it is kind of. It's more about people. I just want to talk to people.
Yeah.
I don't want to like. If you want a fact, just Google them. But
what's Chris?
this is like an insider kind of just like
Yeah.
how people live with this and that and whatever.
I was gonna do that, like learn a bunch of facts. Like I do
that's
know the
lame.
facts in general, but I don't know the numbers.
No one cares about
And
the
I would
facts,
love to
let's
be able
honest.
to whap those facts out, but yeah, I feel like it's more natural to just like go off what you know. I don't want to claim to be an expert. I want to help people to become vegan if they need help or advice and stuff. But I mean, I don't.
Sorry.
What?
I looked away and it looked really rude,
Oh, no,
but
it's
it's
sorry,
literally
you
because
don't.
like I hear things in these
I know.
the microphones and I'm like, what's going on? This is such a weird perspective to have on life right now.
Yeah. I would never want to be that person that forces something down someone's throat. I mean,
Right.
Sometimes make some like angry tweets and like get annoyed at something I've seen online that's just complete and utter ignorance towards veganism or animal welfare in general. But I would never tell someone like, you need to stop eating meat. That's disgusting. Because if someone had said that to me, I would be like,
yeah, I suppose that doesn't
on
really
you
help
go.
the cause, does it?
Yeah. So it is definitely a matter of deciding yourself that you're going to do it. And as much as I love to advocate and show that it's a great lifestyle, and it's, to me, it's definitely the right thing to do. I don't think it's a great way of encouraging people by guilting them and things like that.
Talking about
I hope I don't do that.
like activism and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like you were saying about how you don't want to kind of like force it down people's throats,
Mm-hmm.
but you still want to get it across. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah. So
What do you do?
I've heard these things.
Can I quickly like interject again,
Yeah.
right? So maybe my question is more so, activists, if you want to like promote something, do you think you're vegan if you just don't eat meat, or do you need to like go out your way to kind of preach it?
I mean, I feel like when you first go vegan, you're a very angry vegan and you hate the world around you for not being vegan. And I still feel like that a lot of the time, but kind of you get used to it. You get used to the fact that you are the minority and not everyone's vegan around you, and people don't really understand where you're coming from. But for a long time, I didn't really understand how to get involved in activism. I thought that just not eating animal products was enough. I thought that I was doing my bit. And I guess I was. Like, that's great. It's like, no matter what you're doing for animal rights and for the planet, it's great. Any step is good. But I remember speaking to this woman at a slaughterhouse vigil that I went to, and she said about this story. So we were just talking about activism in general. It was the first thing that I'd ever gone to.
Just before we move on, right? Explain what
a vigil is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I didn't know what this was at all.
Yeah, I didn't really know what it was. I kind of saw it on some people that I followed Instagram stories and stuff. But it's basically when a bunch of vegans or animal rights protesters go to a slaughterhouse and they stand outside the abattoir, and they'll try and stop the trucks as they're pulling in with all the animals in them, and they'll show usually they'll get their phones out or cameras out and they'll film these animals, and they'll just like bear witness to them, because these animals are going to be killed. They'll not be alive on the other side of this. This is like the last people, few of the last people that they'll ever see. And they kind of just show these animals, usually awful conditions that they're in these trucks, just as kind of a way of showing the reality of it and spreading the message that this is where your food comes from. And like, it's a very hands-on way to do it, and I didn't really believe in it in the first place, but understand.
So it's a little bit more
reason
Malcolm X than Martin Luther King.
Yeah. And I
So
mean,
instead of,
I
like,
always think about it as like suffragists.
yeah, exactly, yeah.
There
Exactly
had
what
to
I
be
mean.
some hands-on action, because I feel like sitting back and watching but doing the right thing is good. But then to me, the matter is so important and so much more than just it matters so much more to me than to just sit back and be vegan. I feel like I do need to go that step further and just not cross the line, but be more in your face about it. Like, we can't just sit back and watch this thing happen. I need to actually do something about it. I can't stand sitting back and watching, because it is so horrific to me what is going on. When for an outsider, it might seem crazy, the kind of things we say, like vegans will compare animal slaughter over the world to the Holocaust, and that sounds like such a ridiculous thing. I would have scoffed at that before, but in terms of it, these are living, breathing creatures, mothers, babies, that are literally just being killed with no, like, sure, maybe they've had a good life. A lot of them have just had a short life,
Right.
and maybe care's gone into their life. But at the end of the day, there's thousands and thousands of animals being killed against their will, and they want to live.
Mm-hmm.
Just the same as a mass genocide of humans. These people want to live, and they have children, and they have family, and they want to take care of their babies, but other people take their lives into their hands and kill them. So to me, I see them as the same thing, and that might seem extreme, but that's the reason that I can't sit back and watch. Like, it feels too important. But as I was saying, when I went to my first vigil, so there's a town just near, like, where we live called Wishaw. You probably know it.
Shout
Wishy
out
Beach.
to Wishaw.
But they have an abattoir, which I didn't even know. I didn't even know Wishaw had an abattoir.
Wait, I feel like maybe you even have to explain what an abattoir is.
A slaughterhouse.
Slaughterhouse,
That's where
yeah.
they get killed. I don't know. I think it's maybe a kosher. Oh no, it's not a kosher one. Maybe. I'm not sure. Anyway.
We're jumping into other topics.
Yeah, I don't want to go like way off on a tangent. I feel like I'm doing that way so often.
That's
So
exactly
yeah,
what I want.
I was at this
Tangent
vigil
people.
for the first time ever. I met up with this random bunch of people I'd never met in my life. They were standing about. We held placards, said like mottos like animals aren't an ingredient, things like that, your general stuff. And like cars would go past. We got abuse off so many people, like, go eat a burger.
Yeah, that's what I was about to ask. Like,
Yeah.
was it like hostile?
No, the general mass of people, and the general response was people like hugging their horns, like thumbs up, like, you're doing a great job. A lot of those people, I'm sure, weren't vegan, weren't vegetarian, but I feel like people agree with.
They agree. Yeah, people agree with the ideology.
idea.
Or,
Yeah,
or the
it's
kind
just
of
making that
philosophy.
step.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I always agreed
No
with
one,
it.
no one wants
Yeah.
animals to suffer.
People.
I think we can all kind of agree with that.
We all, like, our society is based around like, oh, we need to treat living things with respect.
Yeah.
Don't buy makeup that's been tested on animals. Like, our morals align with treating living things well. But then when it comes down to meat, it's a whole other story. So I feel like people do agree with it, and the people that are very against it are just a bit naive, don't want to think about it. I'm not sure.
No, I totally get where you're coming from, actually.
Yeah.
Just at your point, that's quite interesting. Like, we couldn't wear some, I don't know, mascara that was used in a rabbit,
Yeah.
but we'd be all right with killing an animal and eating
Exactly.
it. Like, I don't know.
It's like when restaurants ban straws and they bring in paper straws, and I think, yeah, you're saving maybe the fish from being choked, but
Yeah.
you're serving fish on your plates,
Yeah, I
and
suppose it is an irony, isn't it?
the meat that you're serving is causing more damage to the world than the build-up of plastic. So
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, people are doing their thing, but they're looking in the wrong place. I
Yeah.
mean, we point towards transport and aerosols and stuff for climate change and pollution, but it's animal agriculture. It's not just the animals. I'm not saying get rid of the animals. They're killing the planet.
Yeah, let's get rid of those.
We
They're
are
the
producing them and breeding them at such an extraordinary rate that
Yeah.
it's just not sustainable. It's literally killing our planet.
Like, I know of maybe I'm not 100% right in saying this, but I read about a farm, like a ranch, I think you would call it,
Mm-hmm.
in Australia
Yeah.
that is the same size as Texas. And that's one guy that owns that.
Yeah.
And that's just,
Stuff like that.
it works. It doesn't work like a farm.
Yeah.
It works like a factory.
Yeah. And
I
that's
suppose
what
that is a bit strange.
it's quite different in the UK, I guess, because the majority of our farms are family-owned farms, and I'm sure they do take care of their animals.
Yeah.
I've not had like hands-on experience, but I know that these people don't abuse their animals, and they're maybe not in awful conditions. I know they're not in awful conditions. The things that they're being put through is exploitation, but they're not having bad lives.
They definitely wouldn't abuse the animals if that is their source of income. Do you know what I mean? They would want those to be like pristine, looked after. It's like you wouldn't just like bash your golf clubs if you're a professional golf club player. You'd want to look after those.
I think farmers a lot of time feel attacked and think that we call them like animal abusers and stuff.
Yeah, when in reality it's like it's fine, and then when you get to the last sliver of the end product, that's when it becomes
if you care for someone throughout the first half of their natural life and you treat them really well, then by slitting their throat doesn't mean that that's okay just because you've treated them well. But as I was saying, the majority of UK farming is as family farms, but compared to the rest of the world, the majority of animals are being killed in factory farms, being raised in factory farms in awful conditions, and no treatment at all. If they're ill, they die, probably. So I mean, but yeah, at the end of the day, it's none of it sits well with me. they're being killed before they want to die, before they should die.
Before they want to die.
To die. Maybe they do at that point because they're being treated so bad. Yeah. Who knows? We don't know what they think, but it doesn't give us the right to just determine what happens with their lives, I don't think.
We've been recording for about almost 50 minutes.
Really?
Yeah. So
can I say the thing about what the lady said to me at the vigil?
Yeah, what was it?
Yeah, so
do I know
about activism.
I don't know.
So she gave me an analogy.
That's a vegan, yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
Can't remember her name. Mandy. Yeah, she wasn't
Mandy.
She was like an adult.
She's an adult, yeah. Vegan all her life, do you know?
No, I'm not sure.
Okay.
Probably should have asked more.
We'll get Mandy on the show. We'll find her.
She said, is this your first activism? Is this your first vigil? I was like, yeah, I'm not really sure like what to do. I didn't know if activism's the right thing. I don't want to discourage more people than I encourage. I don't want to say the wrong things, turn people away from veganism. I'd rather just be neutral. And she said, well, there's different types of people in the world. There's the person that'll see a dog being beaten in the street and they'll think, oh my gosh, that's awful. I do not agree with that. I do not believe in it. I will never do that myself. I don't want to be associated with that, but they'll walk on. And then there's the person that will come along and join in, which is the meteor. Oh, that's a harsh analogy.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah, in a hypothetical sense, that's what's happening.
I get the analogy that they're adding to.
And then there's the person that comes along and saves the animal and tries to do something to help that animal. And yeah, so that's the difference between not associating with it and not eating meat and not eating animal products and actually doing something about it and getting off your bum and helping the situation, because there's a difference between passiveness and effort, I think, and you need to make some effort to see change happen, right. I guess.
I get you. Okay, awesome.
I feel like we could have got into such controversial stuff.
This isn't a one-off thing. We can talk about this tons.
Okay, I feel like I just talked about myself most of the time.
That's why you're on it. If I wanted someone else to talk about veganism, I got them on it, and they could have talked about themselves.
I just want to advocate, man.
Just want to advocate,
I want to
bro.
talk about myself. I want to advocate.
No, I think it was great.
Thanks.
If you think Lucy was great, message me, tell me. If you think she was rubbish, also message me and tell me. I won't tell her.
If you think I'm hot.
I like how you're like, I don't want to talk about myself. I want to advocate, but tell me if I'm hot.
If you like the sound of my voice.
ASMR. But yeah, that was brilliant. Thank you very much.
Thank
that was
you
very
for
interesting.
having me.
Yeah, we're gonna have tons of episodes on tons of different things. But before we move on and do the little closing thing, should have like a little cool closing intro.
Yeah.
Have
Closing
a little-
intro.
Yeah, I'm an idiot. I don't know what the word.
I
An
don't know what that would be
exit
called.
lid, an exit lid, like a interlude, but an exit version.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I have no idea.
No, I don't know.
A closing section.
An outro.
Outro.
Oh my god, I'm an idiot. I hate myself. An outro.
Took a while.
Don't have one. Don't even have an intro either. I want to have like a little cool music bit. Actually, someone I know made a little cool music bit, so I can use that.
Nice.
Better be good. I've not heard it yet. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah. So, just before we like move completely off of this, right? But as a closing thing to do with veganism, who are some good people that people should like look out for, like pay attention to if they're interested in veganism?
Good one.
Thank you.
Earthling. Oh, I'm gonna forget the precise name.
I'll put them in descriptions.
Earthling Ed.
I don't know.
Look up Earthling Ed. I'm sure it'll come up.
If-
Earthling ED.
You can send me the stuff,
yeah.
and I'll link it. So if you're interested in any of the people Lucy's about to say,
Yeah.
just like look in the description somewhere and you'll find it. And so
yeah.
why these people?
So look him up on YouTube because he knows his facts and he just has such power in his words. He's very good to listen to if you want to hear the truth of things. I mean,
So, he's like, as far as I've seen of him, he's like basically the front man of this.
yeah.
Of like the vegan movement.
I mean, the
He's like-
British front man.
Oh yeah,
People look
absolutely.
up
The
to this guy.
Britain.
He's a really nice guy.
like,
and
he's
he
been
does
on-
good things.
like all the big TV
Yeah.
shows and stuff, like
Yeah.
morning shows and stuff.
And when the
I talk
people
about
against
vegan.
him get all riled up, he always keeps his cool and he always says the right thing. And yeah,
Yeah, he's definitely seems like just a
Yeah.
chill guy.
if you want to get educated, that's the guy to
If you
listen
wanna
to.
get
If you want to
ed-
get inspired,
If you want to get
Earthling.
educated.
Well, I think that's what it is.
Oh wait, his name's not Ed.
Earthlings Ed. Oh no, is it Ed? Earthlings Education. Pff, beats me. I'm not sure.
I thought his name was Ed, and I was like,
Probably.
Earthlings
I actually think
Ed.
it is, to be fair. There's James Aspey. There's
Where's
also he's from Australia, but he did New Zealand, Australia.
Same
He
thing.
did Voice for the Voiceless or something. Basically for a whole year he didn't speak because he was standing up for the animals who didn't have a
That's
voice.
crazy.
Very metaphorical, but I think really powerful. It
Very
got
bad.
a lot of traction.
Very bad to have in a podcast.
Well, he broke his silence on like daytime TV, British daytime TV.
Really?
Yes, throat was all husky.
My God, imagine not speaking for an entire year.
Yeah.
Like,
And I believe
oh,
he
man.
did it. I believe he did it.
That is crazy. That's
He's
wild.
good to watch. But then definitely if you're wanting to see how accessible it is and for actual on the ball advice and tips, follow like Go Vegan Scotland, type in like vegan whatever your area is. I mean, I follow like Go Vegan Scotland, Vegan Glasgow, loads of accounts that are just people posting vegan food. Follow mine, Vegan Angels, yo, shout out. Because I feel like that's the most important thing, to just see the variety of foods that you can eat, and
Yeah.
you'll be like, that looks delish, let's eat that, let's go vegan
Awesome.
and eat that. Yeah.
And is there any places like that vegans can actually go? Is there like an Alcoholics Anonymous for vegans?
Well,
There's no like
Yeah.
actual physical.
there's a vegan society at my uni. There's obviously groups
Right.
like
So if you're at uni,
and-
you could probably find something like
yeah, I'm trying to think. It's Save Movement Scotland that do the vigils. So they do a vigil like every weekend. There's like they go to Paisley and all over. There'll probably be a place near you that you can just go and meet them. And I just showed up that day and said I was interested in going to the event and just went.
that. Am I all right in saying that if people have more questions, they can message you?
Yeah, just go straight ahead.
Boom.
My Instagram DM me. It'll be in like the link or something. Yeah, can you do that?
Yeah. I think I can do it. I don't know if I don't know if you can have like a description on SoundCloud.
Oh,
I don't know. I've never. I mean,
It's gonna be hard to describe. It's at Lucy Fair __ on Instagram.
Wait, it's fine. If you're oh wait, doesn't matter.
We'll work this out.
If there is a comment section or like a description section in SoundCloud, it'll be there. If there isn't, then go to YouTube. There's a link on the SoundCloud, so you can use the link on the SoundCloud that takes you straight to the YouTube channel. So you can do that, and then it'll be in the description there.
Yeah, even hit me with like stuff you disagree about what I've said, or like if there's something I've said that's completely incorrect, because I would hate
Yo, bro, come fight me if you think I'm wrong.
I would hate for me to have like put the wrong message out there. But yeah, legit, just DM me with anything you want to talk about. I'm always up for a chat. I feel like I've got a lot more experience and like advice to offer. I
feel like this is a good like sort of introductory session, so that people have questions. Like if you get frequently asked questions kind of thing, you could curate them, come back on, and then talk about.
I want
these
to challenge
questions.
and stuff. Like there's so much involved in the argument of veganism and for and against it, and I want to get into the nitty-gritty of it, because I feel like that would be a much more interesting debate. Could bring someone in that absolutely hates me and have them grill me. That would be fun.
I hate you.
You need to show it more.
You're
too
a passive
easy with
hater.
those questions.
I'm just a passive hater. I hate internally, like I just hate you from the inside, but on the outside I'm just like,
It's really lovely, thank you.
I'm like a passive vegan. I'm vegan, but I'm like, they're eating meat.
To be fair, you're literally vegan, except you just eat meat, because you don't eat dairy,
there's no
you
word.
don't eat eggs.
There's no word for what I am. Like,
because it's not a thing.
But it is a thing. Like, so if you're vegetarian, you still eat, like you still drink milk and you still have eggs and stuff, right? But you don't eat meat. I do that, but
in reverse.
They kind of like the opposite. I eat everything bar dairy. So I'm like,
you only eat the worst of it.
I mean, you could
it's like you're
that.
taking the step, you're taking the transition in reverse.
So I don't eat like cheese and milk and butter and just like any what's the word? What's it, just dairy or is it eggs?
Animal products.
Animal products. Oh, that's a quick question, right? Before we close, right? I suppose we could talk about this next time, but I'd rather just kind of quickly cover it now.
Yes.
Veganism isn't just abstaining from eating. You can't buy leather. You can wear suede. You can buy elephant tusks.
Animal testing products.
Right, so it becomes quite intricate when you get to these levels, like I'd imagine.
Even I struggle with that, because I don't know how to find out if my shampoo was tested on animals. I don't know how to find out.
Because that's not really, if it's not an ingredient, it's hardly ever told.
Like I mean, there are farms that tell you brands that are associated with cruelty on animals. But I've become more ethically aware of where my products come from. Definitely, if you buy second-hand leather and not fur, I wouldn't go as far as fur. I don't know why. But like if you're buying second hand, that is better than actually creating a demand for those.
Yeah, if you're buying second hand,
you can buy.
If you don't quite get it right, if you buy second hand, like the full idea is like am I right in saying this, that vegans especially don't want to buy leather and things like that that's new, because it adds to demand. So it's basically
they have to replace that on the shelf with new leather.
Exactly. Like that company will be like, oh, this jacket sold.
Yeah, it's the same
and
with
it works
meat.
all the way back, so they kill more cows to get more leather.
People don't understand that when they eat a steak, they say, it was dead already. But that steak has to be replaced by another one. You are an individual creating demand for an animal to be killed. There is an illicit connection there. It's not just such a dissociation.
If it is like a second-hand jacket or whatever, you're not adding to the demand, because it doesn't like work down the chain anymore. If anything, it's like a kind of a good thing to like. Yeah, to
not buy clothes from like unethical means and just shops and create a demand for more waste. It's just reducing waste in general.
Exactly. Yeah, that's
on the topic of that. I've actually like decided, like, as well as abstaining from all animal products and all ways of life, that's including like just thinking about in general where everything I own comes from and what impact it's creating on the environment and animals and stuff. So like zero waste is definitely something to consider. I've bought in a lot of stuff over a long period of time, and I'm testing it.
Did you say bought in?
I've bought in.
Oh, bought in.
Bought
right.
in a bunch of like zero waste, plastic free stuff that I'm trialing right now.
And we're going to have an entire episode dedicated to the specifics and whatnot of all the kind of
zero
stuff.
wasters.
Yeah, like, because zero waste is a whole different, like...
And that's, even at this point, that's alien to me. And I'm still coming to grips with it. But I'm going to film a whole YouTube video on that. So I'll link the YouTube channel in the description or whatever as well.
Yeah, we can do that.
That is
sure
coming soon, pending.
Massive shout out to all your stuff. Thank you for being on the podcast.
Thank you.
Yeah.
How much did we go over the time?
I think we're at 6 minutes over.
Oh.
Not that bad. What did you say there? You said something that reminded me of something. You said, what were you talking about?
Plastic free.
Yeah, like plastic free. Oh, yeah, that's what I was going to say. The thing, why I want to do this, why I want to make podcasts and stuff, or just talk to people, to be honest, I'd love to have my own talk show, which seems like an irony because usually I'm just complaining about stuff. All I ever do is like, oh, this and that, and the system and media, it's all trying to brainwash us. But I'd love to have my own like TV show where I talk to people that are really interesting. And but it's not scripted or anything, just like talk to people. And because the thing that I really love is that when you talk about one thing, it just stems, like it's like a tree.
Yeah.
One thing, like, then there's like 3 replies, and those 3 replies have like 6 replies each, and those 6 replies could have like 9 replies each, and it just grows and grows and grows.
And is
there someone in this room?
Awkward.
Did you hear that?
I know. Someone's chapping.
But yeah, it just grows, like, because we talked about something very, very kind of like, from an outsider's perspective, it's just veganism. It's just a word. But then you talk about it and it grows, and then you're talking about like plastic free or like zero waste. Yeah. And that's like a whole different thing.
Low impact living. And like, I didn't even know it was part of what I believed in as well. Like, for a while I just thought veganism is enough. And I hate to make it seem like this really long-winded thing and you need to think about everything, but it's just my transition personally into a life that I think is what I want to be living, and not creating a bad impact on the world, hopefully a positive one. Yeah
Like it's not new to me because I know you and I know a lot about it, but I feel like it's like interesting to see not just culture but the subcultures, the sort of like underlying stuff that exists that people don't really. It's like seeing a headline and then reading the article, but the article contains a bunch of other articles, and then you click on other article links, and you know what I mean? It just kind of blows up. It just gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and then there's so much more information, and before you know it, you're talking about veganism, and then
you're talking about
civil
witch
war.
Cults.
Yeah, like you don't even know. Like everyone just leads onto something.
That'd be a good one. Try find a witch.
I have.
Really?
That's crazy. You said that.
Found a witch.
I haven't found a witch, but someone.
Oh
maybe
my God.
One
Is that
episode
the broomstick
soon.
that was outside. Sick joke.
One episode very soon is going to have a witch on it, or maybe I don't know, right? Look, no, I mean I don't know, because like I don't know if they identify as a witch. Like I don't know how it works, but that's why I want them on. I want them to talk about it.
I feel your wavelength.
Like I don't know, like I honestly don't know. I don't know, like I was gonna say like Ouija boards and stuff. I don't know. Like, I don't know nothing about anything.
Anyway, that sounds way more. As much as I want to get like points across and stuff for your sake, that sounds way more interesting than a vegan that people are probably fed up hearing about that aren't vegan.
I don't know. Like a vegan is like veganism is a movement. Yeah. It's very current.
Yeah.
A witch is kind of like, what? Do you know what I mean? Like people are kind of like, what?
But I'm sure witches have points to get across as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very interesting points to get across.
When I messaged her and I was like, I want to create a podcast. Would you be interested in coming on it and talking about like good kind of thing and stuff? And she like literally without any hesitation was like, yes, absolutely. There's so many misconceptions and stuff, and I'm like, they're absolute misconceptions. I have no idea about it, and I'm very confused what it's all about and stuff. So I think that'd be super interesting. It's Stevie Nicks that's coming on. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, that would be awesome.
Nice.
I mean, it'd be awesome even like if it wasn't Stevie Nicks. Well, it's not Stevie Nicks, but it'd be awesome either way because everyone's got a cool story to tell. You know what I mean?
Yeah, especially Stevie Nicks.
Stevie Nicks would be a good one actually.
Glad
But
she sings
yeah.
for you. That's
So thank you very much for being on. Do you want to plug anything? You plugged everything you want to plug?
I think so.
YouTube channel, Instagram,
Yeah.
all the vegans.
Yeah. There's so much more I could say about this, but
You have a
for another
website.
time.
You're making a website.
Mm-hmm.
Coming soon. The link will be in the description.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll be back on. You're going to talk about zero impact or low impact
Yeah.
living. Yeah, awesome. If you like the show, let me know. Please tell me. I'm very interested. Like, you don't need to, like, if you're shy and you don't want to just leave comments in the comment description, whatever.
Is this worth
just
the
message
time
me.
and the equipment and the
well, I
staying
hope it's
awake
worth
till
it
2 in the morning?
because I've bought that now. Even though one of the mic stands broke and I had to like improvise with
Yeah.
another mic stand. Luckily, I had one.
You'll
But
manage.
although I'm raging about it, but I'm not going to say any company names. As I said, I'm not going to throw anyone under the bus, even though I'm pretty angry about it. No, but thank you. Thank you for watching. Tell me if you enjoyed it. Honestly, I really appreciate the feedback. Tell me who you want to see on it. Tell me things you want to see.
Yeah.
Do you want to see more controversial stuff like veganism, like really getting in the nitty gritty, or do you want it kind of like lighter stuff like this?
Yeah.
And just kind of talk about like the sort of skim over the milk, if you would. Is that a saying? I think I made that up actually.
Skim over the almond milk.
Yeah, topics you want me to talk about? Anything, honestly, anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was super fun. It was so much more. I thought I was going to be sweating trying to scramble for answers and stuff, but
I'm not.
this was chill.
I'm a
liked it.
sweaty guy. I'm just asking. I just want to know.
I feel quite dry.
Quite dry, yeah. I feel like I've made more sweat and I've pulled it back into my body. I feel like
You're so chill.
I feel like I've
absorbed
taken the
into you.
sweat from the air and I've actually put it inside me instead of put it outside it.
It's just too chill in here.
Yeah. But yeah, that's basically the podcast. Let me know what you think. As I said, let me know what you want to see. Blah 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 blah. Message me at Sir Tom Gibson on all social medias. And yeah. Oh, also, if you liked it, please like the video or the track on SoundCloud. And if you're watching this on iTunes, then that'd be awesome as well. If you just like, I think you leave a
What
rating.
Are you doing that?
Yeah, you don't just like hit like. You leave a 5 stars. Please leave a 5 stars. Don't just leave any stars. Please leave a 5 stars. And like, I think you have to like. I don't know how it works really, but it'd be awesome if you did. It'd be super cool. Really, really, really appreciate it. And that is the entire show. It is a wrap. Thank you.
That was great. Peace.
What do we do now?
Just kind of.
Maybe some music's playing right now, like jingle.
Oh,
this is getting bad. I'm gonna cut all this out. Thank you. Bye.